Shared it on my, shared the Instagram thing on my Instagram.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. It kind of looks like it's streaming.
I got the, yeah, I got it on my,
Okay, good. There we go. All right. Let me make sure it's clear. Hey, everyone, we're getting ready to go. Well, we're already going live, but we're getting ready to interview C, who is an Immaculata, am I saying that correctly? University student who is currently facing some repercussions for calling out the university based on them not including the only LGBTQ organization on campus in their international gender pronoun planning activities. So C called out the university, and then a series of actions were taken against her. So we're going to talk a little bit about what happened, give you the background story, let you know how you can help out. And just a second, but give us 1 second to go ahead and post this link. We ask that you guys, if this is something that, you know, is close to your heart, if you end up hearing something that, you know, you feel like you need to share, please share the link, share the live. The more attention, the better. We're trying to help bring causes to real shit that's happening. And she definitely should not be going through what she's going through right now. So we definitely want to help her out and anyone else in a similar situation. So just give us 1 second and we're going to get to it. Go ahead, get yourself a snack, use the bathroom, get ready to pull up a chair and post our live link to your page, share it in your messenger, all that. All right, give me 1 second. I'm actually going to also put this link in our Instagram bio. Excuse me.
You're excused.
Hope everyone's doing well tonight. All right, here we go. Display video on my link tree. Oh, that's dope. I didn't know they could just display that on there. All right, cool. Let me plug this in. Trying to be responsible so nothing dies. Your phone charged up, Steve?
My phone's charged.
Okay, cool. My feed looks really terrible. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I didn't know what was going on. If you guys notice anything technical happening, let me know. Anything freezing, I would really appreciate it. All right. I don't want to cast. Oh, y'all doing too much. Okay, good. We're clear. Just wanted to be sure. So I'll be keeping an eye on the chat. I honestly don't know if it's going to come up as Fame or Lezcronymz, but either way. Here this way. So feel free to post any tips or information in the chat, y'all. All right. I'm assuming that'll pop up. Okay, good to go? Good, see?
All good. I got it on my end too.
All right, but all right, so Let me go over here to Zoom. I have like 3 different windows up. This is madness. This is why I need a tech person. This is crazy. All right.
You got it, tech support.
Needs that. All right, see, we're gonna get right to it. Okay, so for those of you who are just tuning in, at Lezcronymz and on Edible Podcast, you know, we want to cover like real life issues, issues that matter to you, issues that are affecting, you know, our community. And when C came to us with this story, we knew that it was something that needed to be shared and it needed to be investigated in, because too often as LGBTQ folk, as people of color, we are silenced in a number of ways. And silencing doesn't have to be someone literally covering your mouth, you know, like it can be intimidation, it could be harassment. It could be people making us feel bad for being whistleblowers and calling out injustices that are happening in our communities and our universities that we attend even. You know, it's 2021, about to be 2022. And, you know, you would think that these colleges and these universities would be up to date with and up to speed with a lot of things. But the issue is like a lot of these smaller universities, unfortunately, are not. And it definitely needs to be an initiative of these universities to be able to serve these different populations. And see, that's where you come in. You actually established the first LGBTQ club on campus at Immaculata University, correct?
I didn't start it, but I continue the process.
Okay, what's your position?
I'm officially, like, unofficially the president, and I've been in this club since I was a freshman.
Okay, and what year are you in now?
A senior.
You're a senior. Okay, so you've been the president for 4 years, or just recently became?
Vice president for 3 and president this past semester.
Okay, you've been doing the work. You've been doing the good work. That's important. And it's important to, again, like keep things like this going on campus. And you would think once you establish something like this, that once different LGBTQ initiatives are started on campus, they would actually involve the LGBTQ organizations that are on campus, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let's get straight to it. Essentially what happened is you called out the university for not including, what was the name of your club?
Spectrum.
Spectrum, the only LGBTQ club on campus. They did not include your organization in the planning of the International Gender Pronoun Day that they had on campus.
Yes.
So what was entailed in this pronoun day? They had a series of activities and campus events?
It was a table with pronoun pins, our Spectrum bracelet, and t-shirts and information on pronouns.
Okay, so they put together a table during International Pronoun Day, and this was held where?
Held outside of the library on campus.
Okay, so this happened, and what was your response when you see? How did you find out about it, first of all?
I initially found out about it on our school app. The graduate assistant who runs our Office of Diversity and Inclusion put out a post about the pronoun table. And I was like, originally like taken aback, like, shouldn't we have been included in this? And I go to the table the next day, and me, along with many other students, were not happy about it, because although our club is still fairly new, you would automatically think, let's reach out to it. And many students did not like the table because of the lack of involvement, that our club was not involved with this table in the beginning. So it wasn't just me that was upset about this, because afterwards, people that I talked to were like, we thought Spectrum was involved. And I was like, no, Spectrum wasn't involved, and my own club members were not.
You would assume, right?
Yeah.
You would assume you guys were involved. Okay. So you see this table, you see that your group was not involved. What was the next step you took?
I made my Instagram post. I don't remember if it was either before or after, probably after it. And I made a statement. And then afterwards, I got an email from our university VP to meet.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and show that post that you made, just so you guys can see what we're referring to. Let's see. Oh, whoops. Give me 1 second. I told y'all I needed help. Oh no, where'd you go? Oh, it's because I have multiple windows. It's just a hot mess, okay? Here we go. Let me pull this open first. No, you're not it. While I'm pulling it up, can you essentially tell us what it said?
Yes, the post says scratch his head, and then I inserted a Linkin Park song. Scratch his head, throws this event and not include the actual LGBT students in said event. LGBT students are not marketing tools, we're marginalized people.
Okay, I actually got it now. I'm gonna pull it up just because I like to have receipts up so we can all know like what exactly was said and what we're talking about. So here we go. Can you see that? Can see that? Okay. We got some Linkin Park happening. Give us some ambiance in the end.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the post. For those of you who are just tuning in, we are talking with C. C is a current student at Immaculata University in Pennsylvania, and they are being chastised in a sense for calling out lack of representation. I don't even want to say lack of representation, just there was no representation from an actual LGBTQ club in regards to their International Gender Pronoun Day. So C found issue with this, as did many other campus students, and posted this. So the post says, scratch his head, throws this event and not include the actual LGBT students in said activity. LGBT students are not marketing tools, we're marginalized people. So you reshared their post, I see, at diversity at Immaculata. They got a little cute share your pronouns post going on for International Pronoun Day, which was on October 20th of this year. So okay, so you posted this. What did you expect to happen once you posted this?
I wasn't expecting anything. I'm just like, okay, I said my opinion, on to the next fight. And
Okay,
that was not what happened.
right. Okay, so you posted this. What happened?
I then got an email from the vice president's assistant that she was interested in having a meeting with me that next Monday.
Okay. And did they state what that meeting was about?
No, I had to ask what the meeting was about.
Okay. And what did they say?
It's about Spectrum. That's probably the most I've got.
It's about Spectrum. Okay. So you got an email after you posted this saying that they wanted to have a meeting with you. And you ended up attending this meeting not knowing what it was in reference to.
Nope, I had no further context further of what I was going into.
Okay, so take us what happened in that meeting.
I meet with the VP and she wants to discuss an Instagram post that I made, which we're all looking at. And she said that we worked really hard to throw this table and our campus has a long way to go, but this is a start. And I just kept emphasizing we just wanted to be included, because on the outside looking in, it was not received very well. And doing a pronoun table with a straight person defeats the whole purpose of a pronoun table.
Naturally.
Yeah. And it was not received overall well. And I just kept emphasizing we just wanted to be included. And she said to me, be glad you have a table.
Okay, so word for word.
She said, be glad that
you have a table.
And
So how did you take that? Let's pause for a second. How did you receive that?
I was taken aback. I was like, that's not the point that we're trying to make here. We weren't even allowed at the table, essentially.
So when she said at least you had a table, she was referring to gay people?
She
Because
was
that wasn't your table, right?
saying, yeah, she said, be glad that you have a table.
Okay, so by you, so she was saying because this gender pronoun table existed, that was your table.
Yes.
That was your people's table.
Yes.
So you should be glad that there's some type of representation at all happening on this campus. I mean, that's just how I process it.
Yeah, I literally kept emphasizing we just wanted to be included because the table was not well received because there was no involvement with our club. So many students didn't like it because we weren't involved in it.
Okay. So then what was her response? Who was at this meeting, by the way?
The vice president of the university.
Okay. And their name
is Patty Canarino.
Okay. All right. So their response was what? Once you voiced that you felt like it was an injustice that you guys were not consulted or involved with the planning of this.
We worked really hard to do this. And yeah, she just kept saying that they worked really hard to do it and be glad you have a table. Because the whole point of her, I kept trying to emphasize, we just wanted to be included, went right over her head. And after like we just went back and forth, she ended the meeting. And I thought that would be the end of it.
Okay, so you went back and forth, so you never actually came to a resolution. It was just known on both ends that you both disagreed. So she never acknowledged the fact that you all should have been included.
Yes.
It was just, we worked really hard. Be glad you have a table.
Yes, and I
be glad gays have a table.
Yes.
I mean, I am paraphrasing. I don't want to misquote the woman, but I mean, how can you not?
Well, she said, be glad you have a table. And that part will just always stand out to me. Because
that's wild.
You can have a table and not everyone has a seat at it, but okay.
Exactly. And there were none of us at that table. That's the whole point.
Yeah. And just the reaction from everyone spoke volumes to me. Like, okay, this is clearly why I said something. And I thought that would be like the end of said discussion, and that just students should be more involved in these decisions.
Okay, so following this meeting, nothing was resolved. No one reached out to you to say, or to even connect you with whoever organized the table to say, hey, maybe you guys should work together. There was no branching.
There was no reaching out to collaborate, nothing.
Okay, so then what happened?
Then I have a prior incident happen on campus where I was exposed to COVID by a staff member, and due to me not being able to get a COVID test in time because our campus doesn't provide COVID testing, I am now on probation.
You're on probation for like failure to comply with getting a COVID test?
Yes, acts of dishonesty and failure to comply.
Okay, so they actually filed paperwork against you. Okay, and are these the same individuals who filed the initial charges regarding, or I'm sorry, who brought you in regarding the post on social media?
Yes, they all, the diversity department and the dean all work, and the VP all work together.
Okay, so because you did not have access to a COVID test in time, they are now removing you from the campus. And so on campus, you say it's hard to get a COVID test? Do they have them on campus?
Our campus does not provide COVID testing.
Okay, do they have a health department?
We have a health center, it just doesn't have COVID testing.
Okay. All right, and what about like transportation and things like that around in the area? So there's not good,
there's
to my knowledge.
Bus, like down at the bottom of campus, but other than that, you have to like Uber everywhere.
Right, and you work also, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so getting somewhere on time was difficult to do
Yeah.
within the amount of time. Okay, so they filed that against you, and what does that mean? Like you have to actually like leave campus housing until you get the test? Like how
No.
does that work?
The process is you fill out a form that you were exposed or tested positive. Then you hear from the nurse on campus and then your case manager in res life. And the case manager does all the paperwork for your COVID status.
Okay, so basically you don't have anywhere to go right now, and you haven't been able to get tested in your area.
Yes, everything was booked or expensive.
Okay, and you ended up getting a second notice, correct, regarding, this is what I want to get to too. The actual assistant dean
Mhm.
approached you at an event on campus, correct?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
Yes, we had our Transgender Day of Remembrance. This was our first time having it at a university level. We started it 2 years ago, officially like 2 weeks ago. And after the event that I was leaving, the associate dean chose to want to discuss my probation as I was leaving. And she goes to me, "Can I speak? Can I speak to you? Can I walk with you?" And I said no. She still continues to walk with me about how she's not going to answer my email. She still continues to walk with me. My anxiety is sky high because I just made a very bold statement saying how we should not be celebrating LGBT students just in death, and the university needs to do more for LGBT students. So I was just in a different headspace, and that was not the time or place to be discussing that. And she still continued to walk with me, essentially harassing me. And then I get an email afterwards saying that it was a conversation. So it was just one of those like under the ropes kind of things.
Okay. You said you got an email afterwards
Yeah, she didn't
saying it was just a conversation. She emailed you?
Yeah, saying afterwards, to summarize our conversation, here's what will happen. And I'm thinking in the back of my head when I'm reading this email, that was not a conversation. You
Right.
disrespected my boundaries and my personal space. That was not a conversation.
Okay, so
She
she
felt like it
approached
was
you.
Yep, she approached me as I was leaving, not the other way around.
In public, not in
Yep.
a meeting, didn't email you to say, hey, can you come in for a meeting so I can talk to you about this? Nothing formal. She thought it was appropriate to have a conversation with you at a social event
Yes.
regarding something which, obviously like you're going, and I'm sure like, well, let me ask, are you experiencing, emotional trauma as a result of this?
It's been hard leaving my room from all of this because now just anytime I leave, I'm just afraid that either they're going to like want to discuss it or she'll find a way to like twist this. So I just been like keeping a low profile.
So to even be in that space and to feel like you don't have, boundaries that people are respecting, because that's essentially what's happening. Okay.
Yeah, I'll see it, or if I'll see her like ahead of me, I'll just pause and then I'll go.
Right. Okay. So during the occasion, or on the occasion that she approached you at this event, you ended up having some words with her.
Yes.
Right.
I
Okay.
told her right before she finally stopped walking with me to keep that Karen energy elsewhere.
Okay. So here she is walking along with you, essentially harassing you because you had already made it clear that it was not the time nor the place to have this conversation. She proceeded to harass you and try to have this conversation with you. And at which point you told her to keep that Karen energy.
Yep.
Okay. Then what happened? You ended up getting like a actual complaint filed again, correct? For that statement?
Not for a conversation that we then would have a few days later. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So what was that conversation?
I went to their office just explaining about how I work on campus, so staying on campus helps me like work throughout the semester. and that just being on campus would be really helpful to stay, and they were unfazed. And because of the probation, it prevents you from staying on campus during break, or essentially keeps you from applying from any breaks on campus, whether it's pending, it keeps you from anything, even if you don't know what you're in trouble for.
Okay, so before you're even formally charged, or before they actually have a meeting to decide or to make a decision on the situation, they just automatically ban you from being on campus.
Not
Before
automatically ban you, but when campus closed, you're not allowed to stay.
Okay, versus students who do not have hearings and charges pending against them, they are allowed to stay on campus.
Yes.
Okay, and there's no clause like regarding like what type of violations or hearings they'll allow you to stay on campus for? It's just any type of hearing that if it's pending, you cannot be on campus.
You could be on campus, just for breaks you can't be. It prevents you from applying from break housing.
Okay, and you currently, that is your only situation right now. That's your only housing situation currently, is to stay on campus. Okay, so this is essentially forcing you out and forcing you into homelessness, or to have to find other accommodations, which, you know, we've already discussed that, you know, you're not interested in.
Yeah.
For safety purposes and things like that, because, you know, we can all say like, yeah, we have family members to go to and things like that, but they might not be, you know, it might not be the safest place mentally for us to be at. So right now, you feel like that's the only place that you can possibly be. So where have you been staying? Don't tell us the name of it because there's weirdos out there, but what have you been doing for housing up until now?
I got a hotel to stay on Thanksgiving break and had to miss work. Okay. So I was there from the day campus closed until it reopened. Okay. And that's how I spent my Thanksgiving break, alone in a hotel.
Wow. That's terrible. I mean, a lot of people do, but you know, it definitely sucks in this situation. So you've been getting just like hit with like complaint after complaint after complaint. Meanwhile, you're dealing with all of this. Meanwhile, you're dealing with homelessness, possibly, you know, losing where you're staying at. And no one's doing anything about it, obviously. Is there anyone on campus? Like, is there any way to file a formal complaint through your university, like outside of that department?
There is, but then there's also the part of they might just side with the university during it. Like, we have a Title X department, but I've been here for 4 years and I know how they handled certain situations in the past. So they might just side with the university on it. But I've been like trying to like, yeah, everything is internal here.
Well, you know, one thing about social media, you talk about the power of social media, is the fact that you can get this information out there quickly. So we are hoping that someone's watching that can offer some type of legal advice, legal assistance, if you could point us in the right direction. Of course, we are definitely accepting cash apps for those who want to help contribute, because at a certain point, you know, if this isn't resolved, she's definitely going to need assistance with housing and things of that nature. This could even in turn, you know, end up jeopardizing her job. So let's like do all that we can to help see out. Obviously resources, even if you don't have a monetary way to help out, resources are worth $1 million as well. So please send those over. C, what's your can you put your Cash App in the chat, and I'll go ahead and copy and paste it over to the Facebook, John, but you can say it too.
Yep.
It's because it's definitely it's important for us to help each other out. We get into situations like this just for simply speaking up for ourselves, speaking up for others, simply calling out injustices that are happening. And the post you put up, it's not even like I was telling you when we first had this conversation, see, like, I actually would have ripped them a new one. Like, what you said was like nice. In my eyes, I'm like, that was light work. That was light work, because I would have gave them the work. you know? So it's just crazy how, again, like, you're speaking up on something that is truly valid. That is a truly valid point. You cannot have these conversations. You cannot create activities around LGBTQ folk or for communities that you are not a part of. By all means, give us your resources, give us your funding, give us all of that. And if you're good at organizing things and you want to do something for our community, great, but you need to tap into the right people. You can't just be going off on a tangent doing what you want. It's just a matter of respect. It's a matter of ethics. And it's just unacceptable for anyone to look at it any other way, no matter how you look at it. So let's see, we got C's Cash App in here, which is C2021. Please share this video, y'all. Please share this Cash App as well to your stories. We posted about it on our Instagram if you're following us there as well. Let me go ahead and put this into Facebook real quick. And see, while I'm doing that, do you have any like final words or any requests that you want to make? Like, what do you want to see come of this? What would make you feel like accountability was had in this matter?
For just the safety of everyone on this campus, just providing COVID tests, because it makes a world of difference when you already have it. Because finding a COVID test, we're still in a Panasonic. It's not over. And just letting students just voice their opinions and not be reprimanded for it.
Absolutely.
College should not be this stressful, especially in someone's senior year. Like, this is my last year and I've enjoyed it, but it kind of like took some joy away from my last year.
No, that's definitely understandable. It's a lot to go through, and even like having this conversation tonight, like, it's a lot of emotional work. Like, it's a lot of emotional labor. So even trying to follow through, like, during the holidays and things like that, like, we already know it's the winter time around here. People go through their cycles of depression. Like, it's just like a bad recipe for all this shit to be happening right now. And for the campus and universities themselves to not really be able to serve marginalized communities the right way, it's unacceptable. Especially if you have a whole diversity department and the diversity department is not backing you or giving you any type of support. That's why they are there.
Well, we don't have a diversity director. That's another thing. And it's the other people in Res Life that run it along with the graduate student. So there's no diversity, even a diversity department.
Yeah, and that's crazy. It's like we have these things to be cute. Like, we say diversity and inclusion because it's cute. But what are we actually doing, and who are we putting in place? All right, they doing the most with my codes. Okay, so I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to add her Cash App into the Facebook caption later on, but because tech stuff. Okay, so I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to add her Cash App. Oh, can y'all hear that? I closed it. I found Facebook, but it's but I'm gonna go ahead and add it into the caption after we get up out of here. It is, however, for those of you who are watching now, CS as in Sam, I 2021. So please send through whatever you can. Like I said, keep sharing. C is going to be putting up a GoFundMe page. Yes.
Yes.
So you guys can check back for details on that on our page. And if you're not on our mailing list, we're going to be sending out the information for the GoFundMe on our mailing list too. So if you go to Lezcronymz.com, ediblewords.com, I think if you click like the button that's on our profile or whatever, it'll take you to our mailing list. And that way you can get information on how to help out. And if you or anyone else needs any type of assistance, especially now, like over on the East Coast, it's cold as fuck. If you're going through homelessness or any of those things, I don't know all the information out there. A lot of people do reach out to us because, they know we work with a lot of different organizations, but I will be happy to help you find the information because that's what it's all about. You can do some beautiful things for people just by helping, them find information and resources. So shout out to all y'all who watched. Shout out to everyone who shared the link. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. Please let us know if there's anything else we can do. We're going to continue to be in contact and making sure you're good. And I don't want you to have to spend any other holiday alone or anything like that. So no, I'm serious, girl. You an hour away? Just hit me up and I'll come pick you up. All right. I didn't know you was eating alone. I'd have had you come over. We had a Cousinsgiving the day before, actually. So yeah, we gotta be there for each other. So I really do mean that. C was saying earlier that like she we was gonna meet this way. Because she had come to some of our events earlier this year, Sweat and things like that. So yeah, you never know how you're gonna meet people, what paths you're gonna cross. But and I'm sorry we had to meet this way. But I definitely look forward to continuing to develop a relationship with you and checking in on you and seeing how things are going. So yeah, that's all I got. You good? I'm
good. And
okay.
My last part is to all of this, that they'll never admit the racial part to all of this, because there's two sets of standards for people on this campus. So yeah,
very seldom do people admit that.
Yeah, they'll never admit the whole racial component to this entire situation. It's two separate standards on this campus.
Absolutely. It's like, you don't know? It's always about race. It's never not. It's never not, y'all. And that's just the way it is. But yeah, we're definitely gonna check back in with you. Nothing but the love and light your way. And I definitely hope things look up for you. Like I said, we're gonna do everything we can to try to help out with that. So I appreciate you, my love. You got my number.
Yep. I got it.
Okay. All right.
Nice and saved with pronouns.
Awesome. Don't forget. So yeah, definitely use it though. Use my phone number. All right. Don't feel like you're bothering me or anything like that. I definitely want to make sure you're good. Like I said, I'm only an hour away, so let me know what's up. All right. All right. We'll talk. See.
Bye, everyone. Thank you all for listening.
You guys show C some love in the comments. Even if you're watching this after the fact, show C some love and support. Send some good energy and vibes their way, y'all. All right. All right. Take care, C.
Bye.
All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, I'll be posting C's Cash App in the comments in just a moment, so you guys can donate, and then later on we'll be updating with the actual GoFundMe. If you want more information on that, just go ahead and save this actual post. So all you gotta do is save it so you can go right back to it and find the information. And like I said, also go to Lezcronymz.com or ediblewords.com, plug in your email. We'll send you information on like events that we have going on, different discussions. We have a podcast. We also have a blog, ediblewords.com, which this story is actually going to be posted on as well. The blog itself centers queer people of color. So if you are a writer of any sort, maybe you just like to literally free write, or you like to do poetry, you want to share your song lyrics with us, feel free to tap in, send us an email, send us some of your work, and we'd be happy to share it. So that's all I got. I hope you guys have a beautiful evening. This is Fame signing out for Edible Podcast and Lezcronymz.com.